Two. And welcome back. How's everyone getting on?
Doing good.
Good.
How you getting on, Chad? How's
Very
things?
Yes, very good. A nice rainy day in Los Angeles. A rarity, but it's nice in January for that reason. Makes things real green.
There you go. Now, if people are wondering why this lad looks so familiar, you might recognize him from Call of Duty Modern Warfare, where he plays Alex. So, obviously a big role. But before we get into it, Chad, how about you introduce yourself?
Yeah, I don't know that anybody will recognize me these days. I've got a shock of hair that just is out of control. So, but if you ignore the hair and look at the face, yeah, I'm an actor based in Los Angeles. Call of Duty Modern Warfare, play Alex Echo 3-1, and Brandon Beckett in the Sony sniper film franchise, the action films, and a bunch of stuff that people's parents watch at night during the weekdays. So that's me.
You sounded very confident with that last one.
NCIS, New Orleans, Blue Bloods, stuff like this that people love to go and watch. Their Tuesday nights, Wednesday nights, Thursday nights, whatever. So I've been fortunate to do a lot of dink and dunk on a lot of TV roles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
A lot of action shows and movies. Do you have a preference towards them, would you say?
I love the action stuff, man. I'm an 80s kid, so I grew up on all the best that Arnold and Sly, Stallone, and Chuck Norris, and my God, who else? Jean-Claude Van Damme and Seagal burst on the scene in the 90s. So I grew up on that stuff. So I love doing the action stuff. Really, it's just I was an avid GI Joe collector as a kid. So being able to be a pretend soldier, pretend cop, whatever it is, has always been a lot of fun for me.
Mm. Yeah, well, sometimes you get typecast first, and that's one of the more fun ones to be typecasted as.
Yeah, there's a quote by I remember there's an old timey detective show called Columbo in like the 70s, and that dude like always played the same role over and over and over again. That kind of hard boiled like private investigator. And I remember reading a quote of his that said, "If you're an actor who's typecasted, you're very lucky because it means you'll always work." So being typecasted is not necessarily a bad thing, but I'm pretty fortunate that I'm typecasted into playing more of the all-American soldiers and stuff like that. Something I really enjoy. So if that makes me typecasted, I'm okay with it.
Well, it's got you this far, so there you go. And obviously you got a little bit of that out with Call of Duty Modern Warfare. So how did that start? How did you get into the role?
Yeah, Call of Duty Modern Warfare was it's a big top secret project. I had an audition for a video game. That's about all I knew. They give you the material to prepare. I went in and read with the director, Taylor Kurosaki, over at Infinity Ward. Awesome guy. Brian Bloom, a writer of this particular video game. And we had a really fun audition, on their motion capture stage. And we, played out all the scenes. And, for 20, 25 minutes, we had a really good time. And 5-6 weeks later, I got a call saying the part was mine. I still didn't really know what the part was. I didn't know what the project was. But as we got closer, you kind of put the clues together that it's probably a Call of Duty game. And it wasn't until we were at our first sort of table read, our rehearsal, that Taylor revealed to us that it was a reboot of the Modern Warfare franchise, which I had played, the original trilogy, Modern Warfare back in the day when they all dropped. So it was really, really exciting to be a part of something that was kind of fresh and original, but a new take on an old, very popular franchise there. So that's how it all came. It's video game is a very secret, non-disclosure agreement protected world. So it's truly a need to know basis. Much like the military and the FBI and the CIA, they tell you what you need to know and very little else to avoid all the leaks and the spoilers.
Yeah, you have to, because people are dying for spoilers. Like even like the rumors going out now for like the next one to come out, and like it's just crazy. But that's a common thing with the Call of Duty games. Like I know we had Kamar Dellis Reyes on. He's the villain in Black Ops 2. Rachel Kimsey on. James C. Burns. He's Woods. We had a bunch of Call of Duty actors on, and not one of them knew that it was going to be a Call of Duty game until after. Like one guy had got the job, this is Kamar. He went in, got the job, sitting around, and he starts seeing all the Call of Duty posters on his way in. He starts getting super excited. He goes in, they say, "Have you figured it out yet?"
Hilarious. Yeah, I had to go and do a bunch of facial scans when I first got the role, and they sent me down to Activision's headquarters. And so when you pull up and you see Activision all over the place, you're like, okay, you start putting the clues together that it's a Call of Duty game. But we didn't find out it was the Modern Warfare version of things until we were, the whole cast was there, and we got that revealed to us, on our first day, basically. So, yeah, very exciting.
Yeah. And are you more of a Black Ops guy or a Modern Warfare guy? There's a big divide between the two.
Yeah, I've never played a Black Ops game. I've always been, and I came up through, Nintendo and Super Nintendo, and then into PC gaming. So I've always been a big, fantasy RPG nerd. I played Warcraft for like 12 years. I've always enjoyed those games first. I played first-person shooters here and there over my gaming lifetime, but I did play, the Modern Warfare trilogy back in the day when it dropped. Back when I had a PlayStation 2 or 3 or whatever console those were on. But I typically stick to PC gaming, so I never really played the Black Ops stuff. I know that there's huge fans of a lot of the Black Ops games, but I never dabbled myself. But maybe one day.
Well, I think now, as a result of Cold War, the two are linked now.
Yeah, I guess there's a merger between Modern Warfare and Cold War, Black Ops Cold War in Warzone, and so. That's typically what I play. I find that that's what most people play these days. That's what I stream. Warzone is just really, really, really fun. And I thought it was pretty cool that they didn't just take Modern Warfare and get rid of it. They've got it around. It did really well. It's very popular. Players and fans all responded to it. So it was smart of them to kind of keep it around and keep the best of what was before and, get the new game out there and have them play nice together.
Yeah, and it's been working. People are loving it. They're eating it up. And the fact that Warzone's out there like a free COD game, anyone can get involved. But if you want to play like the multiplayer, or whatever, you have to get the actual game. But the fact that Warzone is there for people, pretty spot on. Really, really good move by the companies there.
Yeah, it almost seems like Warzone is going to be the one consistent thing every single year, and they'll just find a way to fold the new title into Warzone. And it's a pretty genius move. And I'm not really a multiplayer guy. I do it to level up my guns and whatever else, but I really enjoy Cold War. That's really, really grown on me this past year. So hopefully it sticks around for a long time.
I think I've heard something now that they're planning to have a map change at some point where it's like 3 Black Ops maps coming all together, and it's going to form this huge map.
Oh, interesting. God, I feel like I'm still learning the friggin' Verdansk map. Don't change it on me.
Yeah, we were playing before we got on. Just want to note that we got a win, so everyone knows we're good. But
it's hard to come by, man. That's Warzone sweaty, man. I was playing last night with some friends, and we got a 4th and we got an 8th, and we felt like we did good enough, considering how many good players there are out there running around Verdansk.
Yeah, I'm great at it now. I have 9 wins. I mean, I don't want to go ahead and say that I'm better than everyone, but
you might as well retire right now, baby. Retire on top, 9 wins.
Retire as the GOAT is what they say. And then there's Jared here who thinks he's good at the game. He has 22 wins on his account, but he also shares it with his brother and his sister.
He's padding his stats.
Yeah. And he claims to have the most wins, but he's a sham and a fraud, and it's ridiculous.
He also looks a little frozen down there.
I think he does.
He's having some technical difficulties, but
this constantly happens, and it's getting into quite a joke. But you said you stream Warzone. How often do you stream?
I do what I can. Obviously keeping the acting stuff going is my main focus, my career. TV, film, other video games, just the auditions that come with that. I've started to play a little bit more in the voiceover arena. So that's a more than a full-time job to get that going. So whenever I have 2-3 hours here and there, I boot up a stream. I'm not always very good about promoting it. I know a lot of streamers have schedules and stuff. It's streaming's been something really fun that I discovered during the pandemic when, our industry shut down. So I really still try to do it, 2-3 times a week if I can. I made a lot of really, really good friends, built a really fun community over on Twitch. So, I always promise that I'll get better about it, but I never do. I just figured, I get 2 or 3 hours. I hit go live, and then whoever shows up, shows up. We just have a good time. So it is fun, but I know that it was a good year for streaming and for streamers, and met a lot of really awesome people. It introduced me to a whole new world, with Twitch and Facebook gaming and everything else. So yeah, it's been fun, and I plan to keep doing it.
Well, we should definitely play sometime. We also stream Warzone here and there. It'd be fun to do,
I'm always down.
Awesome.
Especially if you're better than me.
You know what? I don't want to say I am, but then again, 9 wins, it doesn't come by itself.
I don't know how many I have, probably like 14 or 16, but I'll admit that that's definitely a product of playing with good players. So I don't think I never really earned any of those individually. So
I also say that I do play with Jared a lot, and 22 wins. Anyway, sugar. I did have a question. What was I going to say? No, yeah, it has been a terrific year for content creation. We started our podcast like during the pandemic, the first lockdown. We had been basically like school had ended, like we weren't going to do our exams, we weren't going to graduate, so we decided to pass the time that we do a podcast, and then that kind of turned over. We started streaming as well. We play Warzone, Cold War Zombies. It's all a bit of fun, but it's definitely been a good time to do it, like when everyone can't leave, everyone's looking for some kind of form of entertainment to be at.
Yeah, it's really it's nice. I've never done it before. I've never done multiplayer. I've never done the online stuff. I've always known it was extremely popular, but until I dove in, it's like, now I get it. Now I understand why people love this. You can connect with anybody all over the world. I've been playing Warzone with people that I've met through streaming, but I've been able to link up with old high school friends of mine from my town back in New York State, and we get games going and catching up like, people I haven't seen in years or talked to in even longer. So it's been really nice to have for those options, ways for people to connect in an otherwise really isolated year. It's been a really, really fun experience all around.
You there, Jared?
In spirit.
We need you here in person though.
Yeah, see me?
No, nothing.
We see you.
Jeez, I was thinking you might need those glasses. Yeah, sorry lads, dodgy Irish internet. What can you do? Yeah, where were we, lads?
Yeah, we were just talking about like streaming and how it's been a good time to start doing it during the pandemic.
If ever there was a time where people had nothing to do and unrealistic amounts of time, what a time to start streaming. The viewers they're idle, you're idle, may as well. Has that done well for you, Chad?
Yeah, I think that just because the fact that people were locked down, a lot of people were, like you said, looking for content, looking for ways to spend their newly found hours in the day, and it's been good. People have been able to watch a lot of TV, watch a lot of film, take their minds off an otherwise scary time in the world, and video games in particular. Like reading the articles over this past year, just how well the video game industry was already doing fantastically in terms of commercial success and traction and everything else, but it just kind of doubled from what I was reading. Just people having all this idle time, just they went to video games, they went to stuff like that, and obviously Twitch and streaming to be able to connect with other human beings wherever they are, isolated in their own apartments or houses or homes or whatever. So it's been a really wonderful experience, and I see the value of it now that I do it myself. And it's just a really, really cool thing, and I think it's something that I'll always do casually on the side, no matter what.
Well, I doubt you would have done that if you hadn't gone for the role. Like it's obviously been a big contributor.
No, I'm very grateful. Obviously, if I didn't get that lead role in Call of Duty, who knows if I would be streaming or not. In Call of Duty is a really stream friendly game. It's really fun in that way to watch. I mean, I was amazed at how many people stream. I found out all about the professional players, and I've had a chance to play with quite a few, really high end, super ranked players and stuff like that, and watch them go. And it's just incredible that I grew up on Nintendo, and my parents telling me, video games are a waste of time. And now you fast forward later, you've got entire generations of young people who are literally making a living, being full-time video game players. And I just think it's incredible. And it's back in the day, it's like, kids wanted to be an astronaut, and a lot of kids these days are like, I want to be a YouTube streamer. I want to be a professional video game player. And it's totally possible. It's really, really fun.
No, it is very cool that people can take the passion of video games and make it their entire career. That Twitch and YouTube has the ability to do that. It's so fucking cool, man.
I think that's the other thing is people are like, oh, video games, blah blah blah. Even learning how difficult streaming was. Technically, the amount of work that it takes to put up a stream, an entertaining stream, a good stream, not just the technical stuff, the equipment, whatever else, but the scheduling and how you interact with your community. People look at this as like, oh, he plays video games and makes, $50,000 a month. It's like, well, that person puts in a lot of work. That doesn't just happen overnight. They're spending probably 50, 60 hours a week getting good at the game to rise to those levels, on top of streaming and the people they have to hire, to help them create their content and run their streams and everything else. It's a full-time operation for people. And a lot of people think that it's easy to just, push play and now you make millions. You don't. You have to work at that. You have to build. You have to grow like anything else. And it's just very cool to see people that have the passion and invest in themselves that way to succeed.
Yeah, you're right there. Which you have to be, pretty good at it. Like you can get away with it if you're like the right kind of person. Like I don't know. You have a comedian on fairly happily. Be bad.
I'm a shit player, right? So people don't come, to watch my skills, but I do get to share, my experience about being an actor in the game and playing Alex and stuff like that. And so it's more of an entertainment. I was reading early on, about Twitch streaming. It's just like, there's two types of Twitch streamers. There's like the pros who are really good at the gameplay, and then there's like the personality Twitch streamers. It's like people come for the personality, the entertainment, stuff like that. I've played a lot with my buddy Jeff Leach. He does the voice of Ghost in Call of Duty, and he was a streamer before, but now that he's in the game, he's taken his streaming to a whole new level. He's doing really well. Streams 5-6 times a week. Super entertaining guy. He's a comedian. He's an actor. And he's also become a really good player by the hours he's put into it. But he is just a riot. You go and watch him stream. It is pure entertainment for 4 hours, and I love that he's kind of merged both the entertainment and the gameplay.
Sounds quite good. We might have to get in contact with him. We're shocking. We're shocking.
Yeah. we were going to have Al Cornell play with us with James C. Burns, but the thing is, James is terrible. Shout out to James.
And he's like 90 or something. Like it's
right.
Yeah, James is like. Yeah, he used to play Woods. So like Woods is in the game now.
Yeah.
But poor lad, he's clueless. He's a campaign guy.
Campaign guy. I mean, I'll admit I'm a campaign guy until I discovered Warzone and started streaming. But a lot of actors don't play the video games. There's a lot of people actors who star mostly just in video games, one after another. They've kind of built that career out for themselves, but they never pick up the controller. They never actually play the game themselves. And so I just think it's really fun for the fans, when you can have an actor who stars in the game that they love, and then you can not only speak intelligently about it to them in a way that they can relate, but then you can play with them. And I think that's really cool. And it's a really, really nice thing to be able to offer the fans who have been so awesome, and wonderful and supportive of the game, and the actors as well. And that's one thing I discovered. It's just because for me, it was a no-brainer. I'm an actor, but I'm also a gamer. So it's like, well, why don't I play the game that I'm in, and then I can meet people through that and talk to them and answer their questions and have fun with them. But then I was just shocked to learn that like hardly any video game actors play video games themselves, let alone their own games. And I'm like, why wouldn't you? You know, but I guess it's just not their cup of tea, video games in general. They'll take the work, they'll take the job, and they do great at it. But I just think that there's something really fun about taking it to the next level, playing the games that you're in, and then be able to interact with fans and gamers that way, on a whole different level.
You know, it's crazy how, you know, advanced the technology's gotten for it too. Like even with consoles, you know, and like PC players would frown upon those in the first place. But even with them, like that, they're unreal. And then if you want to go step up from there, you know, it's like virtual reality or augmented reality, and then you want to go step up from there. There's like the haptic feedback suits, so you know you feel where you got shot or blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Omnidirectional treadmills. You can just keep stepping it up. Imagine trying to play Warzone and that. Woo.
Yeah, I mean, I know when even just during the video game experience when we were making the game, you know, on set and acting through it, you know, it was unbelievable how immersive it felt. You know, it's people were like, what's it like? What's it like? You know, people that don't play video games, I'm like, it's an interactive movie. You know, you are watching a movie. It's that beautiful cinematically, but you are in control of the decisions you make, and you are in the character's shoes. And I think that that's just a really incredible experience. And I understand why so many gamers and fans get attached to a lot of these video game characters, because you're playing as them. You know, it's one thing to watch, you know, Captain America or Thor on the screen, but you know, that's 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and then the movie's over, and you're never actually a part of that world. You know, when you pick up a controller or a mouse and keyboard and you step into that character's shoes, it's a whole different, like, intimate connection, a bond that you create with that character. And I think that that's really fun and really special, and just the way video games are getting bigger and better and bigger and better through technology and just the people gravitating towards them. You know, we're gonna have a lot more of that, and you know, I look forward to it.
Yeah, but
I'm a very big fan of like open world games, like you know, like I'm a really big God of War guy. I'll be honest, like, and I can understand where, like, I've spent maybe, I'll be honest, like 50 hours on the new one. I've completed in the hardest mode. I killed everything in that world. Like, there's nothing else living in it. But
now, what does that say about Thomas?
Seriously,
you know, and like I feel very connected to the characters. They're awesome. The whole world is just it's so beautiful to look at. It's so well designed. It's amazing.
I've heard good things. Actually, you're talking about Valhalla, right?
No, that's the Assassin's Creed.
Oh, I'm
game.
sorry, that's Assassin's Creed. My bad. Yeah, shows you how much I play all the other games. I was gonna say that our composer for Modern Warfare did the music for Assassin's Creed Valhalla, I believe, and she's incredible, Sarah Shacker. So, yeah. But God of War is cool. I remember playing the first God of War when it came out on like PlayStation 2. That was a super fun game.
Yeah, no, they're super fun to play.
Yeah, the level of violence in that game for its time. Oh my God, people must have like loved it, and then their parents must have hated it.
Right.
Or it's like a game you wouldn't play with someone else in the room.
Well, I came up through Street Fighter 2, and then Mortal Kombat burst on the scene. So I started playing Mortal Kombat. My parents are horrified, you know, because you know, they had a Super Nintendo version where, like, instead of blood, it was like gray sweat. It was really lame. But you know, I love going to the arcade. You know, remember those things? Maybe you guys don't. You're too young, but that would used to be exciting. We used to get dragged along on these shopping trips as a kid, and you know, for 2-3 hours, however long I was there, I was in the arcade the entire time. I was doing coin-operated Double Dragon and Street Fighter 2 and Mortal Kombat 2. I was always at the arcade for hours on it, and even just watching other players when I had no money. But you know, you had to get good, man, because you know, your parents maybe give you $1 or $2, so you got to make 8 quarters last 3 hours. So I played hard. I studied up, and it used to be a thing where you'd pop a quarter and there'd be a line of people to challenge you. And if you lose, you're gone. The next person takes your spot. So you had to win to stay up and make that quarter stretch extra far. So, but even though Mortal Kombat games were so considered so brutal and vicious and violent and insane, and now you look where we are now, but those things seem pretty tame by comparison.
Yeah, man. it is amazing how far games have come. But with arcades, I don't think they really ever caught on here.
No.
Because we were.
There's a couple though. There's a couple modern ones. Like there's one.
Yeah, but they weren't like when they weren't in the States. Like
no, nothing comparable. But
like even the ones we have now were like, eh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's this big Space Invaders thing. That's
Dance Dance Revolution and stuff. I'm like, what is that garbage? Yeah. Well, what's so funny is in a lot of cities in the U.S., retro arcades have made a comeback. They turn them into bars, restaurants, and then they just have all these old school coin operated machines. Everything from OG Donkey Kong and Pac-Man to the Ninja Turtles game that I love. There's an X-Men coin operated game that I love. So they're making a comeback in a big way. So it's really nice to because as a kid, you never had any money. So now it's just kind of like, I don't care if it costs me $20 and a bucket of quarters to beat the X-Men game. I'm going to do it. I'll just keep cranking one in after another. Back in the day, it was an impossible dream unless you were rich.
I guess people just really like the nostalgia factor of it. Like they spend, just like you were saying, people spend hours on these things, for days on end. So I guess seeing them modern and sure, they're a bit older, they can have a drink with them now.
No, I'm a retro gamer, man. I've got my Super Nintendo Mini Classic. I've got my Nintendo Mini Classic. I'm actually going through Final Fantasy 3 right now, and Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past on my Super Nintendo. I'm going back to my roots. Hopefully, I'm going to try and stream something like that down the road. But
that's cool.
I always go back every few years and replay all those fantasy RPGs that I grew up with.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I wouldn't have any games like that. Like myself, would you, Thomas? Any kind of nostalgic ones?
I used to have a Game Boy. Like
nice.
those things are cool. I don't know what game it was, but it was like
get more retro than that.
Yeah, I used to have a Game Boy. That was sick, but it's long gone now. But what else?
Yeah.
I guess I can't even call it. I had a Nintendo DS. It was the first kind of console, or the Nintendo Wii. So I had Smash Bros, Mario, all the cool fucking games.
I came across years ago the original Grand Theft Auto, which on my very first computer that I had when I first went to college, I played Grand Theft Auto. It was just a keyboard game, where it was just a top-down view. And I don't know, I know Grand Theft Auto is one of the biggest franchises in history. And now it's like a super open world, like immersive experience. But back in the day, it was just like a very simple, crude, top-down sort of bird's eye view of the game where you just jacking cars and going and doing missions for the mob and outrunning the police and stuff. I had a blast. I'm here with my like up, down, left, right key and my space bar, and I'm like trying to beat that game. Now it's PlayStation 5 and whatever, and 32 different buttons and stuff like that. But it's really fun to take a walk down memory lane and play those old school ones. They're so simple, and it's really a lot of fun for me to do.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Like I coming from a different perspective, because like a lot of the games I would have played would be newer. Like a nostalgic game for me to go back and play is Black Ops 1. You know. And then you're talking about like when they were little individual pixels on the screen. Like that's a big jump. Because even like what we consider to be bad graphics nowadays would have been like the best for their time.
Oh yeah.
Like I remember when Mirror's Edge, I don't know if either you know about the game Mirror's Edge. When it came out, it's some of the best graphics just ever seen. I went back and played it maybe last year, and oh god. Yeah, it's definitely been topped. But like they're just constantly improving. Like I don't know if you've kept track with the new Cyberpunk game. They don't even build PCs powerful enough to run it yet. There's no graphics cards out there that can do it.
That's crazy.
Like its full potential hasn't been reached yet.
I mean, I know Modern Warfare is such a beast. I had a 3-year-old gaming PC. And it did everything fine. It did everything great. But then I threw Modern Warfare on it. It was dragging, man. It was hard, because it's a huge download, and the graphics are so amazing. I mean, I know that we were working with Blur Studios. Blur Studios does visual effects for Avengers movies, man, and so they brought them into this game just to show you how beautifully rendered this thing was. And you need a beast of a computer to be able to handle that. And, especially if you're going to stream at the same time. My early streams were not good because my
I know
internet
the
would
pain.
crash constantly. I couldn't handle Streamlabs and Modern Warfare at the same time, so I upgraded over the summer. And you can still hear that fan kick on, a little angry every once in a while when I play.
At least you could run it, man. Like, I got this thing off my brother-in-law, and he had it for ages beforehand. I'll show you the old piece of technology that was in it. I replaced it. Like, this is the old graphics card. I spent ages trying to figure out what this was called. It's a WindForce GVR9.
Okay.
Yeah, this thing is ancient.
Right.
Look at that. I got it replaced recently, and like even at that, I can barely pull off a stream. Yeah. But dude, sometimes you just need the best equipment you can get.
For sure.
Yeah, and streaming does add a bit of a drag on your computer. Because I remember one day I was trying to stream one of the Half-Life games, and it just crashed midstream. 30 minutes in, bang. Mortified.
Brutal.
Yeah. You ever have any streaming bloopers?
There's been a couple hot mic moments, where you don't mute your mic on your headset and whatever else. So luckily no trips to the bathroom were caught on the hot mic. That's good to everybody's great relief. No, that's it. I mean, really the most awkward stuff is just kind of when it crashes, and people stick around and be like, oh no, it used to be a joke. I had a hardest time figuring out audio, and the inputs, the outputs, how to get this, that, whatever. So the first 10, 15 minutes of my damn stream was just, checking in with the chat just to make sure they could hear me, hear the other players, hear the game, and then we started throwing Discord in the mix. I'm like, oh God, I had to hack those settings and whatever. But yeah, I've dialed it in to the point where we're pretty smooth now.
I'm glad it's going for you. And how big would your audience be when you're streaming?
Oh, I don't know, man. I barely keep track. I just, like I was gonna say before, I hit the go live button and whoever shows up. And we've got a lot of really great people that show up and a lot of them consistently and throw the bits and the subs and everything else around. Very, very generous of them to do. And they're really, really wonderful people. And I just assume they come to hang out with each other. I assume that they have no interest in me or my shit gameplay. So but we do pretty well. I made affiliate really quickly and everything else. So I don't know, dozens of people, sometimes 100. I have no idea who shows up. I don't know how to log it. I get it like a stream summary at the end. It's like, you had average viewers and this is your unique viewers. I'm like, okay, cool. As long as some people are showing up and having a good time, I'm good. Yeah. But I'm not looking to go pro anytime soon or retire from acting for this. So whoever shows up at the party is cool.
Yeah. And why do you think streaming works so well? Because if you really break it down, the idea of just watching someone play a game and occasionally donate money to them when they're playing a game is a bit weird. But but everyone loves to do it. Why do you think people are so attracted to the idea of streaming or watching streamers?
You know what? That's at first I had the same question, man. And I was like, should I even stream? Because if people had the time to watch someone play a video game, why wouldn't they just play a video game themselves? But it is actually very entertaining. And you've got a lot of people who love Modern Warfare who show up just to, to hear the stories of playing Alex, or just to see how the group comes together and their personality. And Warzone's really exciting because no two matches are alike. There's so many variables. It's almost always chock full of action, whether you like it or not as a player. And then there's a bunch of people who don't play video games at all, who come and just like to be entertained. I had a lot of excuse me, fans from the Sniper movies who don't play video games at all, and they come and watch the stream because it's a chance it's like doing an Instagram live in a way, but instead of just sitting there, with your face in the screen answering questions, you can kind of interact with people, but also they can watch, this kind of like interactive movie, this video game kind of unfold and be entertained both ways. So at first I didn't get it either, man. I was like, if I had 2 hours, I would just play a video game. Why would I watch somebody else play it? But now I watch other people. I check in on my friends and watch their streams every once in a while, and I get it. And Streamlabs is cool because it allows you to just kind of build it out with fun little sound bites and animations. And, I got these little custom, emotes made for people to fly around in the chat room, and badges for people who subscribe, all these like really fun rewards to keep people engaged and give them something special and things like that. So it's the whole thing's really cool and very fun. And in a different life, maybe this is something I would have pursued full time. I just think it's that much fun.
Yeah. And, the great thing about Twitch is, it gives you the ability to do all those things you were just saying, like add the emotes or custom overlays, blah, blah, blah. YouTube, not so much. It's kind of your screen. Maybe you get a head cam in there somewhere. That's kind of it. But yeah, Twitch really has it nailed for streaming. So, power to them. If it works, man. And
it works.
They're big enough to start rivaling YouTube, so even better.
Yeah, I think it's fun. A lot of people told me to go over to Facebook gaming and stuff like that because I've got a decent following, for the acting stuff over there. And I don't know, I like Twitch. It's super organized, it's super streamlined. It's endlessly customizable. So many people are already there. Call of Duty is really big over there. Most of my friends who are actors who also stream, they're all over there. So it's all good. And honestly, I'm not so, full time about it that I would like make a switch,
Yeah.
I'll leave that to the pros. You can weigh the pros and the cons of the different platforms. But for me, Twitch is what I picked. And then I just roll with it, man.
Yeah, man, you just got to do what works for you. And obviously it's working for you so far. But I feel like we've been talking a fair bit about streaming, but not so much about the role. So I guess for the last maybe 10 minutes, maybe 5-10 minutes, tell us a bit more about the role, man. Like you saying earlier, you had to get like a bunch of dots on your face so they could, capture your facial features. You have to do all kinds of crazy faces. Is there emotes and stuff that like haven't been done yet? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, it was an interesting process. I'd done a little bit of video game work before, but a day here, a couple days there. This was totally immersive, a whole new experience for me to play a lead role in such a massive franchise. So yeah, it was a full facial capture, voiceover. They had a mic on our helmet rig. You wear these helmet rigs that they have this big, metal bar that comes out, and there's an HD camera that points back in your face, to catch every detail of your face, your micro expressions and everything else. And then, you wear the spandex suit and they have the glowing kind of markers all over you to capture all your movements and everything. So it was a full motion capture, performance capture, face capture, voice capture performance. Alex is me, I'm Alex, except they added a bunch of cool tattoos and a cool mustache as well, which I'm grateful for. It seemed to go over really well with the audience too. So
that's a cool mustache too.
I did a good job. Those animators are incredibly talented, and I'm always blown away by what they do for all the characters. But, we filmed basically like for a week, a month, pretty much on and off for like a year and a half, and just learning the process that these games start to finish take 3 years, and that's insane. It really is crazy to wrap your head around the planning that they have to do and the execution and then the delivery. It was really, I was impressed by everybody who pitched in on this, and you're talking thousands of people, making this a reality. So it was a really fun experience, and it was really, really cool. And, obviously the bulk of my work was doing those cinematic cutscenes that you'd play in the campaign or other stuff like that. The mission intros and outros where you're having that scene with Farah, and then all of a sudden, like, you dissolve into the character, then you go forward. We did a lot of those as well, on top of the beautiful cinematic cutscenes. So that was the bulk of it. I came back and did that little thing for season 3 of Warzone, season 4, when they reintroduced Alex, that he wasn't dead. Spoiler alert, and lost his leg and stuff like that. So I had that kind of fun little scene with Ghost and a big reveal for season 4 of Warzone back in April. But that was the gist. That was mostly what I did, and I hired stunt performers to kind of fill in the gaps with all the roles and the this and that and whatever, so that I wouldn't have to throw myself off buildings or out of a chopper, or get smashed in the face over and over. So, but that was pretty much the process in a nutshell, and it was an amazing time.
Yeah, it's great to hear, man. And with your character still being alive, that just means there's always a sequel coming.
I'll tell you what, man, it's unless you're doing like science fiction, keeping your character alive is key. It's in a real game like Modern Warfare that's so grounded in realism and reality. If you're dead, you're dead. And you still have to see the body, right? Otherwise, you're not truly dead. And you never saw Alex's body in the campaign, so surprise, he's back. But there's no reincarnation. There's no aliens coming to resurrect you in a game like Modern Warfare. So I'm very happy that Alex is still with us, and hopefully he makes the next one.
I say, Will, I don't see any reason why it wouldn't. With the success the game brought, they best be at it. Now I think they're going to take a break from Modern Warfare and Black Ops now and do another one, like an independent one, because they normally do that cycle. It's normally like Modern Warfare, Black Ops, and then I don't know, like Infinite Warfare, stuff like that. Yeah, and normally they don't do too well. Apologies to any of the fans out there of those, but Modern Warfare and Black Ops seem to do a lot better.
It's so funny, man. Isn't it relative? Like even when a Call of Duty game doesn't do well, it's still pretty much better than almost every other franchise out there. It's kind of hilarious. That just shows you what a beast this franchise has been. I was blown away by the numbers when we dropped our game at the end of 2019, like $700 million in 72 hours. Like it blew my mind, like how big and popular these games are. I mean, and I think Call of Duty Modern Warfare went on to be the best selling of all the games. And there's like 17, 18, 20 games in the Call of Duty franchise overall. So really, really staggering, and just really, it's hard to wrap your head around how popular it really is. And just, like what, 80, 85 million Warzone players around the year, like that's just, around the world. It's just really,
it's crazy.
Those are figures you can't wrap your head around, but it's really, really cool to see. I'm just happy for their success with it.
Yeah. Look, it's amazing. It's a great community. People get together from it. It's a great thing to go and hang out with your friends, just to get destroyed for an hour, or to dominate for an hour,
Right.
And then some people make a living out of it. Fair play to them. It's hard, but yeah, man, Call of Duty does some great things. Never mind what all those articles say about it being violent. It's about war. It's going to be
right. War as hell, as they say.
There you go. But I know you got to head off. So, Chad, if people want to check you out, where can they find you?
Yeah, I'm online. We talk a lot about Twitch streaming, and that's just my name, and twitch.tv/Chad Micheal Collins. Facebook is the same, Chad Micheal Collins. Instagram and Twitter, it's Collins Chad M. Come on, say hi. When I'm good about it, I make posts there letting people know that I'll be streaming and to come and play and whatever else. I'm not always so good about that, but if I do have updates, I throw them up on there.
Well, there you go. Perfect. Well, it was a pleasure having you on today.
Yes.
So thank you very much, Chad. Hope everyone enjoyed. Either watch it or listen, and take it handy. Top of the morning, lads and ladies. Support for the Awfully Irish podcast is now brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming.
Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels, and you're no longer need the look of the Irish with the ladies. Manscaped just launched in Ireland. We've gone years without using the right tools for the job. You can now be one of the first men in Ireland to experience their life-changing products.
Your balls will thank you.
Get 20% off and free shipping with the code IrishPod at manscaped.com.
That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use code IrishPod. Top of the morning, lads and ladies. Support for the Awfully Irish podcast is now brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming.
Manscaped offers precision engineered tools for your family jewels, and you're no longer need the look of the Irish with the ladies. Manscaped just launched in Ireland. We've gone years without using the right tools for the job. You can now be one of the first men in Ireland to experience their life-changing products.
Your balls will thank you.
Get 20% off and free shipping with the code IrishPod at manscaped.com.
That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use code IrishPod.